Me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Person?
Here.
Ms. Witchy?
Here.
Mr. McGurven? Ms. Perez? Mr. Pavoni?
Here.
Mr. Corman?
Here.
Mr. Prince? Roll call, Mr. Mayor, 3 absent.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr.
I
Person.
move the absent council members be excused.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Corman, that council excuse council members McGurven, Prince, and Perez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Administrative report, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. I just have one item this evening. King County Metro is talking with communities about the future I-Line route to learn about the needs and priorities for new rapid ride service and other mobility needs. We encourage you to take their online survey before March 29th at https://publicinput.com/3757. That's all this evening. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to audience comments, we have 2 people signed up to address the council. I'm going to call your name. Please come to the podium, give your name and city of residence for the record. You have 5 minutes. Paul Ouellette. And I apologize, our little machine there to show things. Okay, it's not working.
I don't need that because I have nothing to portray over there. I haven't seen some of you quite a little while, but I was here for another matter tonight to take care of a traffic signal problem and so on, and I got my comments offered to the Transportation Committee, so I'm happy. Hopefully they'll fix the problem. Okay, but since I was here, a few comments I want to make. Okay, and I wrote them down because I want to leave you guys a copy, and hopefully you'll make them public if you want, if you care to. Okay, these thoughts are appropriate to offer some observations, comments. Recently completed flyover connection between the 167 and 405 freeway. I can recall reading in a local paper some 2 years ago a short story about a long discussed awaited changes to be made to the worst intersection county in the county and the state. The article mentioned that a flyover could be for express lanes only. This was not publicized, so many citizens and I did not make too much of it. Surely our great city council and mayor would not let this happen. So as an engineer residing in Rolling Hills, by the way, my name is Paul Ouellette. I reside in Rolling Hills Avenue in Renton, okay? It was much interest that I watched this construction proceed. It appeared wide enough that it would have multiple lanes to accommodate express as well as regular traffic. So when it opened a few weeks ago, you can imagine my consternation of many residents and myself to see this mostly empty flyover with no improvement to the terrible congestion that happens to the city streets because of this intersection. A flyover designed to accommodate van pools and buses only will remain underoccupied. Buses do not use it since they exit to the city streets to load up and unload passengers. They simply add to the city streets congestion. Highway 405 will remain total blockage for local exits to Rainier Avenue and Talbot Road. Highways 167 will remain congested from numerous trucks backed up as far south of 212th Street. It appears to me that our city officials have been, bamboozled by our Democrats in Olympia and King County to allow them to dictate how local city traffics will continue to be congested, spend millions of our tax dollars to revise this intersection that offers no improvements for Renton. I know that local city managers can make a difference when enough pressure is placed on those in charge. You only have to look at recent revisions to Highway 405 in Bellevue at Northeast State and 520. The improvements include regular lanes as well as express lanes. I know that many organizations and communities employ consultants and lobbyists to promote their pet projects. I would have thought that some of you on the council or city staff would have been verbose enough to look out for Renton residents and not let this project proceed as it did, or else hire personnel that could help you. I also know, Mr. Mayor, that you and some of the council have been here as our representative for many years, and I appreciate that. You are voluntarily here since you run for re-election and proposed changes during your election campaigns, and I applaud that. Now, I know that activists can affect proposed projects since I was personally involved in the location of our beloved library, and we were successful. Many of us did not realize that we needed to become activists again to have our local traffic conditions improve. After all, that's why we elected you. We have great representatives, and you would not let this happen. This flyover project was not publicized, and most of us have been blindsided and did not realize what to propose and how you can all let this happen. I'm providing a copy of these remarks and propose that you publish them and get city comments from other residents. That's my comment.
Okay.
I don't mean to be critical.
No, that's
but
okay.
It's really terrible what's happened to us.
If you want to leave the letter with the city clerk, we'll make sure to get it circulated also to state officials.
Say again?
If you'll leave the letter with the city clerk, we'll make sure everybody gets a copy, including state officials.
We have 2 or 3 copies there.
Thank you very much.
Basically, that's right, because you've been blindsided by the county.
Okay.
And the state.
Thank you, Paul.
And Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I was thinking, I'm sure this comment reflects probably a lot of other people are wondering the same thing, I am aware, as we're all aware, that this is a multi-phased process. It's probably going to take another decade or 2 before that intersection is complete. But I'm wondering if at some point it would be good for the state or the city to go out and show what that intersection would look like when it's completely redesigned. Because this flyover is just one element of it, but I mean, at some point there's discussions about it that it basically was always too small of an intersection. So a Cloverleaf intersection is what you have out in a rural area. Diamond interchanges that handle high-flowing traffic are what's really required here with this one. Right now, one of the big problems that the state has had is it's still trying to serve Rainier Avenue. So there's an exit right into our city, right in the middle of the interchange. And so the state is planning on eventually putting another on-ramp onto 405 down at Lind Avenue and then redesigning the rest of this. And when that's done, I think that this flyover will make more sense. But personally, I think probably very few people actually understand where the state's going with this, and so I could see where there's disappointment because this should be an improvement because it should get rid of the weave that people in the HOV lane were weaving over and trying to get into to do the Cloverleaf. But I also agree with the point that the slowest driver on the Cloverleaf, if they have to take the Cloverleaf at 15 miles an hour, they set the pace for the whole freeway, coming down there. So I get what Mr. Ouellette's comments about. But anyways, I think the relief will come when the intersection is completely done, and I think a lot of the people in our city don't know what the big plan is. So it would be good sometime to maybe broadcast that or put it in
It might be helpful if some of the information you just shared tonight on the future plans, what the master plan is about this congestion. Because right now, this freeway, the flyover, they didn't build it wide enough to put regular lanes as well. So that's not part of the master plan, but something else might.
Yeah. So the comment, which Mike might not have picked up, was that it might be helpful for some of that information to be out there. And, maybe I'd be happy to work with the administration to figure out how we could take some of that and make sure the public is aware of how this fits into the big picture. Maybe our local media could help us as well.
Okay. Thank you. Next is Diane Dobson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Diane Dobson, Renton. I was here last week, spoke to you on 2 different issues, and brought to your attention the Williams Wells conversion and the concerns that members of the public, including our neighborhood, had about the impact that their comments during the public meeting seemed to make into the final design, and the feedback that we had that that design was put in place in 2011 and no changes were going to be made to it. I also brought to your attention the Parks, Recreation, and Natural Areas Plan update. Chip Vincent from Community and Economic Development will be joining our neighborhood on March 21st relating to the Williams Wells conversion. So thank you to Mr. Vincent and or his staff and representatives to that. But I do bring again to your attention as council that Parks, Recreation, and Natural Areas Plan and update. It's my understanding the North Renton Neighborhood Association Board will be making outreach to staff to have a conversation, hopefully a candid conversation on why the changes that were brought forward during the City Center Community Plan Strategy 8 as far as the private property and eminent domain and those whole series of changes to Strategy 8.3, why none of that seems to have carried forward to the Parks, Recreation, and Natural Areas Plan update, and why your MIG planners have ideas that seem very inconsistent with what the public sentiments were. So that's still, we need some attention to that. And then new item on the agenda that I've brought forth before but not really receiving any traction on is the public restrooms in downtown. So while I'm here as a resident of the city of Renton, I'm also, throw out the disclaimer, I am on the board of the Renton Downtown Partnership, and I am an employee with the Renton Chamber of Commerce. I do not speak on their behalf, but I can speak as to the concerns that we've received to those two organizations, to the downtown Renton, by the downtown Renton businesses. There is signage in the downtown core that indicates public restrooms are located at the transit center. More importantly, there's a lease agreement with the city of Renton and King County relating to the bathrooms at the transit center, stating that King County is responsible for the driver's comfort stations and the city of Renton is responsible for the restrooms for the transit riders. The porta potty that was at that location for the use by the transit riders and the general public has been removed. It was removed last year. Neighboring businesses, neighboring facilities, the Renton Pavilion Event Center, the alleys away around the transit center are being hit. They're being impacted. We as business owners are having to clean up the bathroom or the bathroom messes that are left behind. So I bring it forward to the council that we've got a problem in the downtown core with bathrooms, that signage is there indicating the bathrooms are there, that we have an agreement in place with King County Metro. We heard tonight about King County Metro doing a survey for the bus rapid transit, and hopefully as a city we can put some emphasis on bathrooms and restrooms as they are located downtown.
Okay, thank you. Next is moving on to the consent agenda. We have 4 items for council consideration. Are there any items anybody would like pulled for discussion?
Mr. Mayor, seeing none, I move the consent agenda be adopted as read.
Second.
Presented.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Pavoni, that the consent agenda be adopted as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have an unfinished business, Mr. Person.
Done.
Okay, Ms. Witchy.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Pavoni.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Finance Committee has one committee report.
This committee report is regarding approval of claims and payroll vouchers. The Finance Committee approves the following payments. Accounts payable, total payment of $2,817,932.63. Payroll, total amount of $1,448,161.22 for payroll, which includes 655 direct deposits and 11 checks, February 1st through 15th, 2019 pay period. And municipal court, total payment of $5,294.19. A full listing of voucher numbering can be found in the official record of this meeting on file with the clerk's office. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Pavoni.
I move the council concur with the Finance Committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Pavoni, second by Ms. Witchy, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, Mr. Corman.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, I think you do.
Yeah.
Transportation Committee?
Transportation.
Oh, Ryan left. Thank you. Thank you. Forgot that Mr. McGurven had to leave. Yeah, I'd like to present the Transportation Committee report.
Okay, this committee report is regarding the Renton Avenue South resurfacing project. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute supplemental agreement number 2, CAG 17128, with Gray and Osborne for construction, management, and inspection services for the Renton Avenue South resurfacing project. And this is signed by the committee chair and vice chair.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I move that council concur in the committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Pavoni. The council concur with the Transportation Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And thank you for not letting me forget
You
that.
betcha. Moving on to new business, Mr. Person.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. First of all, the committee of the whole meeting for next Monday, March,
It won't be the 11th, as is noted
look at
there.
that, March 8th. That's what is it? It's going to be. It's March
25th.
25th next. It's written the 11th on the paper. So anyway, March 25th is canceled. And secondly, I move to refer to the committee of the whole, parking of oversized vehicles in the city.
Second.
It's moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Corman, that the topic of parking oversized vehicles in the city be referred to Committee of the Whole.
Right.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's have it. Okay, Ms. Witchy.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on Monday, March 25th, the Utilities Committee will be meeting in the council conference room at 6 p.m. We will be discussing emerging issues in utilities, including the Kennydale Reservoir Bid Award, the 2019 King County Comprehensive Solid Waste Management Plan, and the 2019 Stormwater Management Program Plan. That is all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pavoni.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have one meeting to announce, and it'll be for planning and development for the absent Chairhead Prince. And March 25th, 5 p.m., the Planning and Development Committee will be meeting in the council conference room. We have 5 items on the agenda: recreational uses in the UC zone, long-range work program, small cell permitting requirements, and emerging issues in CED. That is all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. What's the wish of the council?
We adjourn.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.